Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the Event Tech Live main stage. Just a quick reminder what is going on elsewhere, not on the main stage. At 2 o'clock, if you're a freelancer or an independent event planner, we have a speed networking session going on. That's from 2 till 2:45. So freelancers and independent planners, make sure if you want to expand your network, get over there, get involved in that speed networking session that kicks off in 15 minutes time. But right here, right now, we have our next session, which is how to drive sponsorships value through gamification. And we are joined by Dimash Kunev from Engamio. Dimash, hello and welcome. How are you?
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back. Thanks for having me today.
Great to see you. And I know Dimash is very keen to answer all your questions today. So do take this opportunity during the presentation to drop those questions in the chat. Once again, I'll be fielding them to him at the end of the presentation. So Dimash, if you are ready, looking forward to this one, take it away, sir.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So, hi, everyone. My name is Dimash Kunaev, the founder and CEO at Engamio, and an advocate of gamification for virtual and hybrid events. So, today I will share some thoughts, ideas, and use cases on how to drive value for sponsors through gamification. So, first of all, let me do a quick intro of myself. My background is in event space. And back in the days, I had my own event agency with multiple owned event brands in our portfolio. A bachelor degree in nuclear physics from Moscow State University actually helped me to understand about 10% of the science of event management, and the rest came with the practice. While completing my MBA at Schulich School of Business, I founded Engamio, and since then have been in love with gamification and virtual events. So we all know what happens with the industry, right? Now it's all about virtual and hybrid. And even though the industry has made an unprecedented step forward, there are still many areas for improvements. And one of the core challenges, I think, is related to the audience engagement and participants retention. What will stop you from quitting an event when you are just one click away from checking your email or browsing some interesting and engaging content? If attendees will not be able to easily find something that they are interested in within the platform, you will most likely lose them very quickly. And we call these periods of time an engagement sinkholes. And they are similar to leakages in a jar with the liquid, and there should be a way to fix them. So another issue that I wanted to bring up is, have you tried to become a sponsor of virtual events? And were there enough options to stand out from others and maximize your ROI? And let's be honest, the options are quite limited for now. And in most cases, we are dealing with a standard sponsors page, banners and logos across different places of the platform, right? So many event professionals admit that when dealing with virtual and hybrid events, it's very challenging to engage the audience, drive sponsorship ROI, and as a result, monetize their events. So today, I want to show you how gamification can combat all three challenges at the same time. And I will try to incentivize you to use gamification at your events. I will not go too deep into the theory and will not talk about such basics as the Garnick effect and Bartle's taxonomy of players. What I'll do, I will just share a quick definition of gamification, which is not a gaming. Some people are messing up these two terms. It's not a gaming, but rather the application of game elements and mechanics within non-gaming environments. So I'm sure you've seen it many times around you. For example, McDonald's coast-to-coast monopoly game to promote sales is a good example. Or whenever you're dealing with points, pages, leaderboards, you're most likely dealing with some type of gamification that tries to incentivize you to do certain desired actions. So why should we event professionals care about it? First of all, it really works when capturing people's attention and improving conversion and engagement. These stats that you see are coming from educational and work environments. Secondly, the average age of gamers is about 40 years. Not to mention that gaming is in the DNA of several generations, like millennials, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, who were born after 2010. With over 2.7 billion people playing games almost on a daily basis, the chances are that the majority of your participants are more than familiar with gaming mechanics and will very likely happily accept gamified experiences at your events. Thirdly, according to recent research from Oxford University, gaming makes people happier and relieves stress. Not to mention numerous research papers indicating a number of benefits for mental health, creativity, productivity, and for socialization. And lastly, gamified experiences trigger stronger emotions and builds trust and interest for a product or service in a more efficient way, what results in increased willingness to explore and buy. So why should we at least try to implement gamified experiences at our events? Because it's natural and familiar for our participants. It might help to relieve their stress during the event and spark positive emotions that will in turn help to convey the information from the sponsors and incentivize people to explore it. So a combination of game mechanics, sponsors, brands, and key engagement analytics behind the experience could become a powerful triple value package for the sponsor and the organizers. It can boost audience engagement, drive sponsorship ROI, and generate extra monetization for your event. So full disclosure here, we are doing it at Engamia, and we have created a gamification platform with a variety of totally customizable and easily integratable packages. So everyone can create a free account and become a creator of cool gamified activations for your event. And we are not the only platform who do this. So I'm just illustrating the approach here based on our own solutions and on our own experience. So what we saw is that gamified packages can engage up to 90% of the audience, while driving 10 times more interactions with sponsors and generate tenfold profits per each of the packages that you use and sell to sponsors. A typical gamified experience is not a one-click exercise. It is a journey that has a welcoming page, a storytelling page with some interesting story behind the gamified experience, a task page where you can play the game, individual results, and call to action page with embedded links and call to action buttons. So it is a multi-layer gaming experience with sponsors' content gently embedded into the flow. We recommend to use these activations as a separate tabs within the menu of your event platform. And the integration can be accomplished through a simple iframe embedding, so it will be a one platform seamless experience for the participants. So let's do a quick self-check. Let's imagine you're at a virtual event and you're using an event platform, and there is a sponsor's offers jumping at you across different places of the platform. So which one of these two will you most likely pick? Play a game with Engamio with a start button, or check Engamio page with a visit button. So I think that most of you got the sense of how it might work at your events. The same happens at a Taxi Talk Global event over a month ago. The jigsaw puzzle mechanics was used to tell a story about a Cadence brand and their core values and their team. And the activity was embedded into the menu of the event. So in total, there were about 300 interactions with over 150 views of the call to action page from the sponsor and over 62 clicks on the sponsor's offer. So the average duration of engagement was about 3 minutes. And I'm sure that most of you will agree that a click-through rate of over 40% is a huge number, a click-through rate on the sponsor's offer. But what is most important here is that a standard sponsor's page of the same brand had just above 30 visits, which means that gamified activation had driven 10 times more interactions with the sponsor. Similar metrics were observed for an interactive map of the event where participants could drop pins and see the pins of other attendees and see the aggregated statistics on how many cities and how many countries are presented. And in this case, we saw the click-through rate on the sponsor's offer of 67%. And as one of the participants said, in this case it was Anthony, and thank you him very much for this generous testimonial, that it was not only an interactive and fun experience, but he was learning things about the sponsor in a fun and engaging way. What helped what helped the information to stick for a longer time. So the puzzle had a leaderboard and the participants could play multiple times to improve their results. And of course, they saw the results of others. So it was a real battle going on there. And periodically, someone was informing the rest of the audience that Barbara has just beaten Anthony. And it created an extra emotional vibe and memorable positive moments for the participants. Another cool case happened recently at a data science conference. The word search was customized according to the topic of the event, and the call to action page promoted a downloadable file from the sponsor. As you can see, the click-through rate was also very high, and it was close to 70%. And the organizer, the attendees, and the sponsors had a great experience when playing it. And it is, as it is stated in the organizer testimonial, while it was very easy to create the experience, it also generated measurable value for key sponsors and boosted audience engagement. So the last case is coming from a Game On event that was hosted by in-event platform in collaboration with our company and our partners from Instantly. This is just one of the activations, a selfie booth, that generated over 30% of click-through rate. As you can see, the agenda of the event was structured in a way that 4 activations were scheduled for the break, and it was a self-paced experience. So everyone could go through it and at any point in time. And instead of facing an engagement sinkhole, the participants were engaged with a number of gamified experiences during the break. And at the end of the event, we announced the winners and presented the prizes. And actually, I think it also helped us to keep the audience in the room up until the very end of the event. And as Jamie, the winner of the Jigsaw Puzzle contest, put it, this was the way of the future of engagement. So we encourage everyone to start dealing with engagement sinkholes and turn them into interactive, engaging sales funnel, but through the means of gamification. To sum up, gamified sponsorship packages at your events could not only drive great engagement and sponsorship ROI metrics, but also generate monetization and make your participants happier and more emotionally connected to your events and to the sponsor of the activation. And I truly believe that gamification can make our world a better, happier, and more productive place. And it is already happening in other industries, so why not start using it in ours? If you would like to learn more about using gamification at your specific event, please reach out to me through email, LinkedIn, Grip platform, or through our virtual stand here at ETL. And thank you so much for your attention, and I will be happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Dimash, for that. There's a nice short demonstration there, very clear though on what he's got to offer. If you have got any questions, do keep them coming in. Can I just say, Dimash, I'm really glad you've sort of brought this gamification to the surface, because I know what you're saying is right in terms of the sponsorship and companies want to do. I myself run actual interactive entertainment for companies. So I do game show nights, I do race nights, and I've always had that, can we get sponsorship involved? Can we sponsor each race? Can we get videos in there? There are people there really keen to get their message across, get involved and actually sponsor the event. So I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic. In terms of, the actual games and stuff, what sort of events are your sort of clients using them for? Is it more the exhibition and the trade shows to get people on their stands, or is it just conferences as a whole? Or where are you seeing the most demand from?
Yeah, I would say that for now, the best use cases that we've seen are coming from conferences, and it could be all different types of conferences coming from associations, nonprofit organizations, corporate planners, and all these kind of types of events. So I would say, yeah, that's the best use case for now is for the breaks and other times when people are disengaged and they need to search for something more interesting within the platform.
Fantastic. I think as well, I'll say that I only asked about the sort of exhibition space because I've taken part in a couple of virtual exhibitions. You have your stand there, and it's a case of people click on it, they sort of have a look over it, and they might, if it's really what they're after, they might come and talk to you. If not, they just move on to the next. But I did a 2 day exhibition there. Day number one, barely got any interaction. So I built my own game overnight. I didn't know your service was available, otherwise I might have come to you first. But what I did is I built sort of an interactive game. Day two, I went on there, sent out a message to everyone on the platform and said, look, we're having a game, we're having a competition. And, the actual traction, we probably got 20 or 30 times as many visitors throughout the day just by having something to play, and the feedback we got was fantastic, and it was just a very simple thing. So I definitely think you are onto a winner with this. As I say, would that be something you think you go down in terms of an attraction to an exhibition stand, or do you think conferences are where
Yeah,
it's at for now?
absolutely, absolutely. Because like part of our solution is that we can just turn the gaming experience basically into a QR code. So the entry point is very simple. You just design and craft the whole experience, then you get the QR code, you can print it, put it on your stands, and or maybe like across the whole venue of your events. So it's all about how you're gonna design it, but I'm sure that it's gonna work really, really well. And I think that the challenge here is how to design it in a way so people would be really interested to learn more about your brand, about your offerings as a result of this activation, right? Because sometimes I saw a poor design when people weren't interested at all in anything related to the sponsor or the stands or any kind of content that we put there. They were just keen on getting these points and move forward, right? We don't want to see this kind of thing. And yesterday, I heard my colleague within the gamification space, Jeff from Instantly company, he said a really nice thing that in this kind of cases, when people are not connected to your brand and they are just there for the points and that's it, it's actually a negative ROI for the sponsor or the exhibitor, right? Because they're spending their time explaining some things and then their visitors just go and pass forward, right? So it's all about the design, and yeah, it's quite challenging, but I'm sure that once you step into these fields and you start experimenting, you will get the sense of what is working for you and what is not working. And yeah, at some point you will find the proper balance.
Absolutely, and I think you made a very good point in when you mentioned in the leaderboard. You can never underestimate the power of a leaderboard, especially in a meeting, at competition, especially in a corporate company. I've been there on many sort of team building events or conferences. If there's something competitive there, you do get people coming back and maintaining that interest. And like you say, if people have visited. Your area of a website or your area of a conference, for example, no doubt they'll be coming back, even if they were a leader at, first thing in the morning, they'll be back to check. So I definitely think that's a powerful tool, having a leaderboard on there. We have got a question come in from Mark. Says, Dimash, do you see a difference in adoption and activity rates with physical versus virtual events? And if so, what does that percentage look like?
Oh, this is an interesting one. To be honest, I don't have enough data to support my answer. I can just kind of get some answers from the top of my head. So I think that maybe for virtual environment, it will be easier to adopt this kind of gamification tools and mechanics. Why? Because the habit of attending events is quite new for all of us, right? I mean, virtual events. And this is something that we started doing just kind of a couple of years ago, right? Even less than that. And it's quite natural for us to explore something new within this new domain, and having something gamified within the flow of the event might attract our attention better, I think, compared to when we will be back to a physical environments and in-person events. And there we got the habit of attending these kind of events, right? And over there, probably we will be naturally just seeking the networking opportunities and all these kind of things. So probably it will be harder to implement something new within this familiar environment of physical events. But I might be wrong. It's all about experimenting and trying, and we will definitely try to experiment with physical environments and introduce our gaming mechanics into these types of events as well.
Now we look forward to that. Like you say, it'd be very interesting to see how it does go down in the physical world. Like you say, changing that behaviour, getting people into it, introducing it. Whereas online, I know we had a sort of session earlier on about everything looking like a 3D game, and you get avatars. I think people are a lot more receptive. At the moment, to playing those games online. You almost feel like you're sort of in a computer game sometimes on some events. So yeah, I think like you say, but I'm excited to see what you do with the live space as well. That is all the questions we've got for you now, Dimash. If anybody does have any more questions, I'm sure Dimash will welcome you to connect here on the platform as well. Is that the best way to get hold of you, Dimash?
Yeah, absolutely. So
Fantastic.
there is my email, and yeah, you can reach out to me through the platform.
Absolutely fantastic. And will you be attending the live days this week of Event Tech Live by chance? Will you be coming to London?
Oh, I wish, I wish. I was planning to come. I'm based in Toronto, and yeah, I was waiting for my visa, but I couldn't make it, so I will definitely try to come next year.
Fantastic. Well, we look forward to having you there as well. Do-do-do. Oh, we've got Rachel. I am, like always, FOMO is building up ahead of the in-person version. Oh, she's already scared of missing out on what's to come in the in-person world as well. So there we go then. We are going to wrap up this session there. Thank you very much to Dimash there. Really, really interesting stuff. If you think that would benefit your event, Engamio is the place to go and check it out. As I say, I'll be going to have a look at that following today's session as well. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Dimash.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your attention. Goodbye. Have a great day.
Cheers. Take care, Dimash. See you later on. So there we go. Hope you enjoyed that session. Really, really interesting stuff there. Our next session today will be at 2:30. And we're going to have a short ad break just before then. If you want to come back at 2:30, we're going to be using Spotify as part of the marketing funnel to drive event registrations and ticket sales. But as I say, we're going to take a short break. Then we're going to have tech demos from Etopia and Clipper. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Cheers. I'm going to go and get some.